What's up, guys? It's Emperor Luku with another tips, tricks, and strategy video for our strategy game needs. And today I'm going to talk about the Huntsmarshal's Vortex campaign. Some of the stuff may apply to the Mortal Empires campaign. It's obviously going to be different because different objectives and so on and so forth. Right here's the starting position on the map. Zoom in, you'll see a little more of the starting position, where your unit is, where their unit is, where your enemies are. Who you're at war with in the beginning, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now I'm going to jump into skills, and I'm going to go in order so that you see the 40 that I used. You can go in this exact order. If you already have a skill plan, then you don't need to watch this part. If you are having a hard time with your skills, I'm going to go through this in order from your first point to your 40th point. So the first thing I do is I put one into Inspiring Presence, Leadership. It's important. Then Route Marcher. I just get these going. Because he is a ranged lord, and I can't stand ranged lords, I use him as a support lord. I don't really put many buffs into him because I don't get him in the combat. He's just there for support. And that's 2 points. Then I go to Emperor's Finest, 3 points, so now that's 5 points total right there. Then I put into Leader of Renown. Okay, this is going to bring down my recruitment costs. This is going to bring me up to 8 points. Then I only just put 2 into Reassurance Presence. That brings down my attrition a little bit. You can fill that up later. Don't put 3 into that. Just put 2 for now. Then we'll get into the rest later. So that brings you up to 10. So now that you're level 10, you can jump up here to get these skills. You get Best of the Best. This is recruitment rank. We're going to add more to that later. Okay. Then you get Irregular Elite. Okay. The upkeep cost is okay. The melee attack, I don't care because I don't get my huntsman in a melee. But it's the missile strength. That's 10%. Well, add on to that later. Then we got Master Survivalist. My main point here is the Casualty Replenishment Rate. Replenishment Rate. Okay, so now you should be at 13. Okay, then I go into Grand Huntsmarshal. This gives you Vanguard and Immune to Psychology for the entire army. This is extremely important. This will help you, especially when you're facing people like the Wood Elves, because you can get right on top of them. The Dwarves, you can be right on top of them if you end up at war with them. Okay, but you get the drop on them, and that's what's most important, and it's for the whole army. Okay, then I jump back down here and I get Honest Steel. Okay, this is going to bring up your Great Swords, which I use. I don't care about the Demigryph Knights for this particular lord because of how I set everything up. They can be used later. It's not like I never use them, but mostly I aim for that for the great swords. Okay, then after I get all that, okay, you have to put one into Irrecessible. Okay, and then I get Lightning Strike. Okay, then I get 3 into Quartermaster. Okay, this is upkeep again. Then I go for Headhunter. Okay, this is going to be another recruitment +2 for all units. Okay, so that goes on to the other recruitment. And then I jump back over to, where is it? Bam, up here. I get Rally. Okay, and then from Rally I get Strength of Hardship. Okay, this is going to go for your Flagellants again. Okay, then I jump back down here and I get Logician, whatever. That's Casualty Replenishment Rate. That's going to go for the Casualty Replenishment Rate up there. So your guys are going to be like, after a hard battle and your quarter health, they're going to be jumping up after this and the other thing. Okay, which is Master Survivalist. Then Sleight of Hand. This is reload reduction time. This is going to go with something else, which is down, where is it? Sharpshooter, which is right here. So reload reduction again. So you take that stuff, your guys are going to be shooting like they're automatic weapons. Okay, then I get Taste of Battle. This again goes for the great swords. Now you can have a front lines of great swords with a couple spearmen on each side for the cavalry and just destroying them with ranged units. Okay, and then I get Artillery Master, and then combine that with Imperial Gunnery, 3 points. Okay, mind you, everything else I've been putting 3 points into, maxing out and stuff like that. The only thing I didn't max out so far would be the Reassuring Presence. Then I go for pistol crops or cops or whatever, and I fill this up, okay, which is the missile strength. So that's going to go on with the other missile strength that you just got. Now you should have 2 or 3 points left. I believe it's 2, okay, and you can either apply that to alert if you're more of an ambush person. You can take those 2 points and put them into speed of horse if you're using cavalry a little more than I do. I don't really use too much cavalry, maybe a couple units, and they're fine how they are. Or you can try to get either this, hold the line, brass lunged, or headhunter, or not headhunter, stand your ground, and these will affect leadership. If you're having a leadership problem for some reason, maybe on max difficulty, that could be an issue. Or you could always put the one, do this to get your attrition negative percentage in casualties suffered by attrition, max that out, and maybe choose one of the other, leadership skills or something of that nature. And that's totally up to you what you do with the last couple points. But you should be pretty much at 40 points by the last one that I dubbed. So I don't really go, like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, this is a great ability and this is a great ability, and they are great abilities, but then you have to put stuff into him personally, and I don't get him into combat. He's just my support unit, so I don't really put much into that. Same thing with this stuff up here, which is for his abilities and all that stuff. Yeah, they can be okay, cool for him, but I like to blanket the overall, stuff. And then you take these skills and you apply them with the stuff that the buffs and bonuses you're going to get from the researches, and amazing. You're going to be spanking people. Your units aren't going to be breaking. They're going to be doing heavy damage. The reload speed is going to be insane. The damage you're going to be applying from your ranged units, and then all the leadership buffs and so on and so forth. It all just kind of comes together nicely. The units that are important to me, okay, with the bonuses and the buffs you get from the research and his skills, I like to get a lot of great swords for pretty much my front lines. I get a couple of the spearmen with shields to cover kind of my flanks from the cavalry charges, and then a bunch of huntsmen with some mortars. Okay, that's usually my goal there. Okay, but another great thing you can do is, because you have flagellants that already have gotten buffs, flagellants are unbreakable. You could put out a unit or two, have all of their guys focusing on your flagellants, have some spears set up to counter any cavalry flanking, and while all of their infantry and arrows are focused on the flagellants, you can mortar and use your huntsmen on all of the blobs of enemies around your flagellants, okay? And just kind of pick them off and do tons of damage like that. That is a trick that you can do. Now with construction, I do a lot of the same thing. Money, defense, money. I cover this in a other video that I did about basically how I always usually do the same thing. If I have the opportunity to get something special like this, then I do it. Defense, money again. There'll be a video in the description below that covers kind of how I do construction. Now with expansion, you can kind of see what I did here. I aim to get the south. I'll basically roll in diplomatic relations right here. As you can see, I got trade with these guys. These are the guys, only guys I really want an alliance with, because the other guys pull me into too much. I've got the Dark Elves coming down. My allies are powerful. We're doing great. Everything's great. But my defense, and I just realized my little, there they are. So what I kind of had to do, what I wanted to do, is I kind of wanted to come down the coast. But what I had to do is, after I defeated my enemies in these areas, okay, I just ended up having to take this line here. And then I kind of just slowly but surely moved down, because I kept going to war with lizards. And it's kind of hard to expand, but number one, don't pick any fights. Try to be cool with as many people as possible. Um, Always, and I cover this, and that'll be in the video in the description below too. But what I try to do with Wulfhart is I try to get non-aggression pacts and trade agreements with elves, and then the rest of the humans I try to get alliances with that aren't Norscan, and then trade a non-aggression pact with Cetra. Um, Wood elves and stuff, yes, sure. Um, but obviously, I'm going to have to do a lot of killing of lizards, and that can bring me, depending on how your campaign goes, that could drag you into war with some high elves or wood elves, or so on and so forth. However, it happens. Luckily, there are some guys down here that the lizards kind of have to pay attention to, so it's it's it gets hard because your stuff can get expensive and you get spread out. And then also, what happens is, of course, you have the undead right on your shore, and then more undead over here, and they start coming onto your shore. And then there's more undead up here, and sometimes they may come down here. Usually, they just stay up here. Um, but once you get it nice and secure in this little corner here, you can keep a guy back here. You can start going forward. You get trade with Cetra once he starts expanding. That's where everything gets kind of beautiful, and the load starts to get, you know, uh, lightened. Now with the research, I love the Empire research. All of it is so great. I don't really have an order I go in because it depends on what I'm dealing with at the time. Um, if I'm dealing with the lizards more than the undead, or the undead more than the lizards, or orcs, or maybe dark elves for some reason are all the way up in my stuff, that all matters, and it also depends on how, where I'm at and on my expansion and my, um, how many armies I got and so on and so forth. So this all makes a difference. I do try to get like my diplomatic relations stuff up a little quicker than I do some of the things that people would mostly focus on, whether it be money or military. And I only do that because that will get me the trade quicker, which will also bring me the money and also keep me from having to deal with certain things right off the bat. Um, and then obviously getting some of these down here will help you, like this one right off the bat, because you're going to have lizards to fight right off the bat. Um, Obviously vampire coast right off the bat. Um, I don't really. I get this kind of more last because I don't really go to war with the elves right away, and I get this one kind of last because beastmen are few and far between. When they do come to my territory, sometimes I just let them pass through and go bother somebody else because that's a distraction, and will keep that'll keep them at bay while I do other stuff. Obviously, chaos don't really come around, especially if you're playing the Vortex, and when they do, they're going after the people who are messing with the Vortex. And also, Norska doesn't really bother you too much. There is a Norscan tribe nearby up here that starts off in this general area, but they get wiped out kind of quickly. Um, so that's pretty much it. But I do want to get into the faction specifics, and I'm actually going to start a new campaign again so I could show you what you start off with. Okay, so the benefits you get from start, well, this is a pro and a con right here. You do get powerful units. I would try to get the units that will apply with your skills that I went over later in the future. And then, of course, Scouts of the Empire. So that's pretty cool too. But you do have to meet these requirements. So you kind of have to stay on the offensive. Also, I highly recommend getting all four of them and doing their missions. The missions are kind of fun. It tells you what to do with the missions, and when you get these units and you get them, they can be powerful to put in with your other units. Now, what you need to know is at the very, very end, you're going to want these completed before your final mission because they give you big bonuses and buffs for the final battle. Okay, you can see it down here. Okay, down here, down here. And you can have all four of them in your final army. I did not. Um, I don't think you need to get the buffs from them. But again, I did not. I think I only picked specific people. Um, so there's that. And then, as far as expansion goes, I want to go back over and just say really quickly, as you can see, I start off at war. Shut up. With these two factions, okay? Um, but it will only be a very short matter of time before you go to war with these orcs. So really, what you're going to have to do is take this out, prepare for this. That's really what you're going to have to do. Um, and that's pretty much it for this. I hope you guys enjoy playing as Wulfhart. I did. I don't like him as a character. I don't like the Range Lords. I don't like his attitude. But I do like this campaign and I do like the playstyle. It can be difficult at times, but it's still very fun. I think the extra little missions you get and the extra little dialogues you get with the other heroes and stuff can be fun and makes it interesting. This whole little thing that you got to do at the top in order to get your reinforcements and lump sums of money and stuff, I think that's pretty cool. Other than that, some people may have a hard time. As far as on the Mortal Empire campaign, I know that my boy loves playing as Wulfhart on the Emmy campaign, but I have yet to do so. As you can see in the objectives really quick, this is pretty much all you have to do. Destroy the following, and then go finish this final battle. Okay, and then have 100 in acclaim. And that's not really hard to do. Then you can do the domination victory if you want to. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed this campaign. I hope it was organized well enough for you. If you have any comments, leave them below, and enjoy.